I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Like it's not a tough life. It's just a tough moment in your life right now. Like, what are we going to do to heal from this? What are we going to do to learn from these lessons? Because like what you've learned, like you can use that to help others. And fast forward now in my life, because of those experiences, if you will, and I've been able to help others in the same lane and help them move efficiently and effectively.
Step into the world of success with Your Brand Amplified, the ultimate podcast designed to unravel the intricacies of thriving businesses. I'm your host, Annika Jackson, and I'm on a mission to uncover the stories, strategies, and secrets that have propelled entrepreneurs and business leaders to success. I am so thrilled to have a returning guest, Chip Baker, the Success Chronicles. Chip, you are one of the first people I met when I was still living in Houston who was in the podcast world. Like, you were already doing it, and you are not just an educator who's been teaching and coaching for 26 years, but you have an entire personal brand ecosystem, a podcast, a YouTube channel, 30 plus books, speaking platform, online store. You are the true content creator, author, and educator turned entrepreneur that like makes my heart go warm. So I want to first and foremost thank you for being here today.
Yeah, and thank you so much for having me. Like you said, we connected a long time ago, and I loved being able to come to your events and see what you were about, and just loved your heart for service for others. And I'm truly grateful that the big man has allowed us to connect and do work over the years, partner together to be of service to others, people in your network as well as people in my network.
Yeah. Well, so let's talk about your tagline: live, learn, serve, inspire. Go get it. When did you know that was more than a motto, and how did you come up with it? And then how did you realize it wasn't just a motto, it was actually a business model?
It's crazy. Like, every time I hear that, it gives me chills. So even when you were saying it, it gave me chills to hear that. Really, that's life for me. It's what I've learned along this journey, right? It's been almost 10 years that I've been doing it now. And just as far as the podcast, YouTube channel, but, just in general life, I believe that we have to live a life where we're not afraid to live, right? We're going to make mistakes, but from that we learn, right? So live, learn, and, we have to take the blessings from the lessons, right? I don't believe it's wins and losses. I believe it's winning and learning, if you will. And so we have to learn from that. And then, man, once we've lived and learned some things, we have to make sure that we serve others and take those things. And you and I do this all the time, so we know this, but take the things that we've been blessed to achieve and not just keep it to ourselves, right? But use it to help others, to help them be better in their lives. And, as we're doing that, that's the serve piece. And then as we're doing that, we go through trials and tribulations, ups and downs, if you will. And what we don't realize is that it's inspiring to others.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And so that's the live, learn, serve, inspire. And then the last, I believe that no significant success is just going to come to us. I believe that we have to go get it and make it happen. And so that's where that all comes from. And like I said, every time I say that or hear that, it gives me chills because it has meaning behind it. Right. It's just no surface level tagline. Like, it's substance behind it, and it really means something.
Yeah, absolutely. You're fourth generation educator.
Yeah.
How did you know that was your calling?
It's cool that you said the word calling. I come from a faith background, and I would hear my family say, man, it's a calling to be of service. It's a calling to be an educator. And I didn't know what that meant until I was really in it. And I saw that, it comes from a heart of service, right? It comes from a heart of knowing that it's not about me, it's bigger than me. And so I watched the people in my family. I was taught as a young guy to be of service. No, you're going to give service. You're going to help others, right? And so I was kind of made to do that as a young guy. But then as I grew into it, if you will, I saw that, man, that's the way to go. And it really brought fulfillment in my life, right? Like it's one thing to have like selfish gain it's all about me stuff, right? But when you get to that space, like it's no substance, it's all surface, right? But what brings you fulfillment is being of service to others, operating in your calling. And I believe that we're all, big man has blessed us all to have certain special talents and gifts. And it's our job to figure out what that is and just go hard, go get it, if you will, on going to give it as far as service. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So you went down this path, then you finally understood what it was about, how this really was a calling, how it was bigger than you. But how did you then decide you wanted to start capturing and sharing other people's stories, naming it the Success Chronicles? And what does that even mean to you?
So in my life, I've been blessed to be around some great people that have poured into me, right? Some people that have mentored me, guided me. And then there were some times where there were some low spots in my life where I experienced some things where, man, I felt like, man, Humpty Dumpty, right? All the king's horses, all the king's men couldn't put Chip Baker back together again, right? I felt like, some of those moments I was broken, right? And so there were people that poured into me, people that looked out for me. I had great conversations with them, and it really helped me be better. It really helped me heal. It really helped me grow. And I got to a point where it's like, man, this is so good. Like, I can't keep this to myself. Right? I have to highlight these amazing people that I'm coming across. And then it just started to grow. It started with, the people that I was around, that I was having contact with, conversations. And then it grew like, this person will be good to interview. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. This person will be good to interview. Hey, come to some of these events. It'd be cool people there at the event. And so like, it's just grown. And now, man, it's crazy. Like I interviewed my favorite author. I've interviewed like NFL players, people, in the music industry, just some really big name people. And really it wasn't, when I started, it wasn't about interviewing big name people. It was just about highlighting people's story, because I think we can learn from everyone. Right. And so that's what it's about. And that's how it's grown, and that's how it's taken off. And I'm just grateful that people, man, first think enough of me to talk to me, to have conversations. But then after that, I'm just grateful that they think enough of me to recommend me to people or send me to people like you have, over the years, to have conversations. And then it's really cool for me, like when I interview people that have podcasts or people that have shows, they tell me, man, you're really good at this. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. And so, yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah. Well, let's take a step back, because you said this came out of people lifting you up when you're, and when I read your, when I even just shared your highlight reel, all the books,
Yeah.
all the work that you've done, take us to some of those moments. What was going on personally or professionally that you felt that you didn't feel enough, right? Or you felt like
Yeah.
you needed you needed some help, whether you knew it or not.
Yeah, that's good. That's a great question. I think just reflecting back on my journey, being raised by a single parent mom in a small town in Texas, seeing some things that I still don't really talk about today, some experiences in the family, some experiences that I've had personally where, I may not have felt adequate enough, but there were so many people around me to say, hey, no, you're capable of doing that. No, we believe in you. Or, even in my career where I'm the youngest on the staff and I'm given like big time opportunities, right? A minority as well, and so, and people put me in position to be able to do things because they saw things in me that I may not have seen in myself, and then not letting me fail. Like that's the part right there. Like put
Mentorship,
me, yeah,
right?
that's the part. Like you can give people opportunities,
Mm-hmm.
right? But then you can look at him and say, okay, what's he gonna do? Or you can say, hey, I'm gonna give you this opportunity because I believe in you, and then I'm gonna mentor you and guide you through
Exactly.
because what I'm doing, I see in you, and you will be doing what I'm doing as a head coach,
Nice.
someday.
Wow.
Right? Like, what? Me? You talking to me? You sure about that? Right. But I mean, it's just a number of things. And I think the big thing when I really started the Success Chronicles, and I had a big career and a tough thing that happened to me in a career deal, and I was really in a tough place, right? And so, I just hung on to what I knew to hang on to, my faith. I hung on to like the conversations, the relationships that I had. And so really that's kind of what jump started the Success Chronicles, because I really had to take a deep dive on healing and be reassured that, oh no, you're all right. Right? Like it's not a tough life, it's just a tough moment in your life. Right now, like what are we going to do to heal from this? What are we going to do to learn from these lessons? Because like what you've learned, like you can use that to help others. And fast forward now in my life, because of those experiences, if you will, and I've been able to help others in the same lane and help them move efficiently and effectively.
Yeah. When did the Success Chronicles turn from being something you did for fun, right? Just to get other stories out into you realizing this is actually a full-blown business and there's more I have to share, right? Through the books and through everything else that you've done.
Well, it's both for me because and this, the kind of person I am, like if I'm gonna do it, I want to have fun, right? Like it's gonna be fun. And so I think that's the beauty of how I do what I do. Like for me, it's organic, it's genuine, like it's really just fun conversations, right? And like you said, it has transformed into books and speaking opportunities, and being on other podcasts and shows, and being highlighted myself in magazine articles and news, interviews. So I mean, it's like it, man. It's like just hearing that trips me out. Like it's truly, grown further so far than what I ever would have imagined. But definitely, I've wanted to take advantage of the opportunities as far as maximizing the opportunities, and so making business, I think probably year 3 is when I started to see, wait, man, like this can grow, right? Like it's so, I mean, it continues to grow. It's crazy. So like going from interviews to connecting with a guy that wrote books to show me how to do some book things, self-publishing, like I all learned that through the podcast, interviews, and like I said, other engagements. And I don't even know if you know this, but we did in November, we did a documentary over my book series.
No.
Like the
I
impact
actually
of
did not know that.
yeah, the impact of, that's what I was thinking. I was like, man,
Wow.
I don't even think. So we did the impact of influence documentary because we did 10 books in that series. And so we did a it was awesome in a real movie theater. It's
Nice.
crazy. Yeah.
Talk about all these experiences because no joke, 30 books
Yeah.
that you are an author
Yeah.
on, right?
Yeah.
So what was the process of getting that first one written and how did you scale up content that quickly? Did you bring in other authors? Did you use interviews from your podcast? What were some of the things that you were able to use to make sure that you were getting your voice out in the world, but also sharing those stories that would help others?
Yeah, I think the first thing, like I said, the way I started writing was via connecting with someone that I interviewed on my podcast. And so, we did some topic sessions. Dr. Oliver T. Reed, I want to send a shout out to him. And I didn't know that he and his buddy, they did self-publishing. They traveled and taught people how to write and do different things. And so he was like, man, you ever thought about writing a book? Like, yeah, I've thought about it. Yeah. And he's like, man, I would love to kind of help you do something. So my first 2 books we did together, he and I. And so from there, I was like, man, this is really cool. Like when you prove it to yourself that you can do something, that's when it really gets exciting. Because like now you're like, well, like what else can you do, Chip? Like you did that. Like where I'm from, like I didn't grow up around people that wrote books. So like, to have a book, like, man, this is wild. So it kind of excited me. And so then from there, in meeting people and interviewing, I came across another group. I spoke to like this men's group, a national men's group. I spoke virtually at one of their things, and there was some guys in there that were businessmen, and one of the guys reached out to me and we connected. And he eventually asked me, he was like, man, you ever thought, you interview some really cool people, you ever thought about bringing them together and putting them in a book? And I was like, that's a great idea, right? And so we started the Impact of Influence book series. And like I said, we did 10 of those, man. The first book, we did a 10-city book tour. Man, I was in LA, Tampa. Man, I was everywhere. I was tired, actually. I feel like now I see what those stars feel like. But yeah, we did the book tours, all of that. It was so neat. And then from there, and when I did in the Impact of Influence, just to kind of talk about it, I brought together like powerful influencers, and we just had like topics. So like the first one was stories about people that have influenced us. And then we did some different things. Volume 4 was just coaches. Volume 9 was love. Like how has love, and then we finally got to volume 10, and that was about legacy, because I knew that was going to be the last one. And so we wrote about legacy, and we were able to, man, we wrote a legacy letter to our loved ones of what we want our legacy to be.
Oh, nice.
Each author. And so the cool thing about that journey was, yeah, it was nice to bring people together and write the books. But what I didn't realize that was going to come out of that was the ability for us to connect, collaborate, and do work together. So like all of these people, I've done like different things with them. So like when we did the book tour, I really just went to places where the authors were. So, I had authors in Tampa, had an author in Indianapolis, an author in LA, and so author in Denver, Colorado. And so they were all, big time people in their area. So we just went to where they were and we did, book signings, speaking events at their place. And so that really was shocking to me. And at each level, right, I'm doing different levels of things with the growth, right? And at each level, you continue to just prove to yourself, like, man, we can really do this. Like, this is cool. Like, we really organize all of this. And so then you just continue to grow. And then, like I said, the most recent last November was a real documentary documenting the content and everything from the journey. And so now I'm to the space. Now I've started another series, which is the Path for Coaches. And I had it up here, but I don't. The Path for Coaches. And so we're doing different topics and the first one was like mentoring. We did emotional intelligence or awareness, emotional intelligence, and the newest one that we're going to drop out. And I hadn't even put this out there, so I'm going to share it on your platform. Yay. The first time, right? So the next one that we're going to release late May, early June will be communication.
Nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All really important topics. Who's your audience for these books? Is it students, high school students, college students, new grads, right? Is it young professionals? Is it people who are more seasoned?
Yeah, I think it's a mix of all of that. But if I had to narrow it down, really just people that are looking to grow, right? Like I'm a natural teacher. I'm an educator. So I write in the way of teaching, right? I want to give people gems, tools, if you will, that they can apply to their life and actually help them be better, right? Because one of my pastors says this, life change happens in the application. And so I always want to strive when I speak, when I write, I want to give you applicable tools so that you're not wasting your time, right? Your time is valuable. So let's get in here. Let's get you some good teaching, give you some tools that you can take and use with your life. So I think, I have, because I'm an educator, so I have youngsters that follow me and support me, people that I've taught and coached, big supporters of people throughout my career. So it's really a good, and that's the blessing. It's really a good mix of lots of age groups.
Now, you share a lot about what success means, how people found success. But I'd
Mm-hmm.
love to hear something that your students have taught you about success.
Something that my students have taught me about success. I think it's okay to continue to be curious and never stop learning. I think where I am, and I learn every day, especially being around students, especially like technology things. Like prime example. So this is funny. Like a couple years ago, there was this like technology that was out where you could like edit on your phone and do some different things. And so I'm excited, right? And I'm telling my teenage son, I'm like, hey, man, check this out. Like I found out this deal. And he just nonchalantly, oh yeah, we did that in class last year. Like, I'm like, okay. And so like just like it's always opportunities to learn. I think that they've taught me that. And I'm open, right? Like some people are closed off. Oh, I'm this age and I know it all. Well, I don't feel that way. I think it's always important for us to be open to learn because that's where our growth happens.
Yeah. Uh, As a creator who's also a coach, who's also an educator, there's a lot going on in the creator economy. How do you balance the output of everything that you do with actually receiving as well, right? Not just receiving accolades, not just receiving new contacts, but also financial receiving, because that's something that we all have to think about as we're going on this journey. I mean, I know you and I, we started podcasting because we loved it and we loved the connections we made with other people. Later on, we went, oh, wait, this is a business. Unlike other businesses that I've started, or unlike other businesses that you've been involved in as well.
Mm-hmm. So I think for me, I think the thing that's helped me is I'm really good about prioritizing,
Mm.
right? I don't get caught up in like people ask me about, well, what about social media? This, like I'm on social media, but I don't know if I'm so social on social media
Mhm.
because I believe that to me, it's not the most important thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, are there benefits? Yes. Are there things that we can learn and use to help us grow? Yes, right. But realistically, if I didn't post for a week, I'd be okay, right? Because that's not like that's not my priority. If I
Right.
can get to it, that's fine. But what my priorities are, I believe that we have to be able to say no to some things that are not important to us because it sets us up to be able to say yes to the things that are important, right? And so that's just how I operate. Like I have core common values and principles that I believe in that I don't sway from. And so I walk in that. And so whatever comes from that, like I can deal with it because that's what I believe, good or bad. Right. And so I really just hang my hat on that and I don't get caught up in, well, everybody's doing this and this is
Yeah.
trending. And I don't get caught up in that. I get caught up in doing what feels good to me.
Hmm.
Right. Now, do I research? Yes, I check out things, right? Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? But does that fit me? No.
Mhm.
Right. Do I have the capacity to do that? Right. So, like all of those things, we have to figure out like what works best for us and prioritize what's most important to us.
And thinking about success, right? I also want to hear something that you believed about success early on that you've changed your mind about.
Something that I believed early on about success that I've changed my mind. That's good. That's difficult for me to answer
Yeah.
because I've always been the same guy, right? So like it's important to me to be consistent, right? If somebody say, "Hey, tell me something about Chip Baker," I would think that probably the first probably 2 or 3 words that people would say is, "Man, that dude's he's consistent." Right? Like you know what you're gonna get from Chip Baker. Like he's the same dude like every time. And so like I'm intentional about that. So I think like there's really nothing that's changed, but I think I have seen that, like I talked about earlier, substance over surface,
Yeah.
Right. When we're
Yeah.
young and we're like not as mature, we may think that stuff,
Right. Right.
is the way. The flashy things, like that's the way. The car and the all of those, the suit, like all of those things, right? Stuff. But as you mature and you grow, it's really not about that. It's about relationships. It's about being who you say you are, right? Being consistent, having quality over quantity, right? Having core values that you operate in. And so that question is difficult for me to answer because I don't believe that I'm different, right? I think that
Well,
I've had some growth,
yeah.
right? I've had some growth, but I think the shift is, I guess, if I had to answer that question and give you an answer, I would think it's substance over surface.
When maintaining your daily wellness rituals is important to you, the change in routine during the summer can feel daunting. Kachava's new travel packs help you stick to your daily ritual, even when you're on the go. Just one packet of Kachava's all-in-one nutrition shake provides complete nutrition with 25 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, greens, adaptogens, and much more. So you'll be fueled and ready for wherever life or your summer adventures take you. No fillers, no nonsense. Just the good stuff your body craves. Plus, it actually tastes delicious. But you can try it for yourself because the variety pack includes all 6 delicious fan favorites: chocolate, vanilla, chai, matcha, coconut acai, and strawberry. So instead of worrying about sticking to your daily ritual, simplify it with Kachava. Go to kachava.com and use code FITNESS for 15% off. That's KACHAVA.com, code FITNESS.
And I appreciate that answer because when I'm thinking about it, like you said, at different points in my life, success has meant different things. And you've known me for a very long time. You knew what I did in Houston, and you know how much my life has changed being back in LA, career, what I have to do, what I have to do to get noticed is very different. I don't have to be out all the time. I don't have to do the things I did there, right? So I would say to me, success there was having a big social circle, being involved in the social scene, right? Because that was the work I was doing. And yeah, I did do a lot of charity work and I did a lot of other stuff. But now I'm an educator, which is really a calling and something I'm so passionate about. And I don't know that I would have seen this path for myself when I lived there, right? So to me now, success means am I surrounded by the people I love? Do I have work that I love? Am I making a difference with my students? Am I able to make a difference with my podcast? And so it's making a difference, but in different ways, like you said, more substance, less flash.
Yeah. And I think, and I'll just say this about you. I think one thing that's consistent with you is your heart for service.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
And that was one thing that I noticed about you, like early,
Yeah.
like I interviewed you once, and then you invited me to your event, one of your events, like real soon after I interviewed you. And I was like, well, that's very nice of her, right? But then I get to the event, like you legit took time to really talk with me and say, hey, these people are here, this is this, they would be good to interview. I was like you didn't have to do that. And so I was like, that showed me right there your heart, right? That showed me the kind of person that you are. And for me, you've been consistent in that, in everything you've done, right? Even in your shift, your move, you're moving to education, it's the same, but it's just different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I want to know what you see. I mean, you're doing another book series. What else
Yeah.
do you see? What are you building next for Chip Baker and the Success Chronicles?
I think building, my goal is to do more leadership development training, if you will, with organizations and companies. I've got lots of experience in teams, organization leadership, all the way back from my single parent mom being my first head coach. Right. I played sports growing up, played 4 sports for 4 years in high school, played college football, coached for over 20 years. I've been in education for 27 years, owned a couple of different boards, teach a leadership class at my church. So yeah, I'm doing or and have done lots pertaining to teamwork, leadership, personal development, if you will. And so my aim now is to, target more towards organizations, groups, teams, to really just pour into them, right? To teach them and to help them develop personally so that they can be the best versions of themselves, so that they can give the best versions of themselves to the people that they love and care for.
Wow. Nice. Chip, every time I talk to you, I always have a big smile on my face.
Yeah, that's good. Me too. Yeah.
Your presence, what you give, what you do in the world, and how much you help people. And so I'd love to hear a story about somebody who was really impacted by listening to an episode or by a talk that you gave or by reading one of your books.
Ooh, the cool thing is I have lots of those stories,
Yeah, I'm
right?
sure you do.
Man, man, it blesses my heart to hear those things because it shows me that the effort, the intention that I have, it's worth it,
Yeah.
and it encourages me to continue to do it. And amidst all the trials and tribulations, the ups and downs, it pushes me to continue to fight through, to show up, to continue to show up. But I'll share this story. Man, and this is a coaching story, but like it goes to now, right? And I share this is one of the stories I share when I speak too. So I want to make sure I share this. So it's about like, the importance of living a life where you learn those things like we've talked about in this whole interview, right? But then taking the things that you've learned and applying it and using it in your life to help others, and how it doesn't just affect you, it affects generations. So when I was a younger coach before the gray and stuff, uh, I worked at this pretty big high school in Texas, Conroe High School. And we would do football camps, like summertime for the community, right? Kids, younger kid football camp. And so there was this kid that came to our camp and he had a difficult last name to say. All right. And I'll just say his last name was Faridafar. Right. Very difficult. Yeah. Very difficult. Very difficult. Right. And so like the kids that were there, some of them knew him, some of them didn't. But all of the adults were butchering his name. Right.
Oh.
And I saw that, and I saw it made the kid kind of feel like like you could see it. Like he's like, And so I asked him, I was like, hey man, like what's your name? And he said, Faridafar. I was like, hey, how do you say that? Slow that down. I'm looking in his mouth. Faridafar. Right. And so I said, hey, I'll have that down tomorrow. I'll be able to say it the right way. He looked at me like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, whatever. Right. So then the next day he gets to the camp and across the field, Faridafar, and so I, have his name. And so like that made a difference in that kid's life. I knew that like your name is important, right? Your family name is important. So it's important, like to me, to make sure I say it the right way. I'm that teacher. Like if I don't say your name the right way, hey, make sure you let me know, because I want to honor that, right? And call you the proper name the right way. And so fast forward, that kid ended up going to the junior high that fed to our high school. Then he eventually ended up going to the high school where I was at. And so I had a bond with that kid, right? And so he gave me everything he could give me. Ended up being a pretty good football player for us. Ended up being a pretty good powerlifter because I coached powerlifting for us. And we had a bond. So once he graduated, I was able to get a head coaching job in my hometown.
Wow.
He went to college close to my hometown. So he was able to come help with the staff right there. So like just continuing our bond. And then I decided to go back to the area where I was at, Conroe area. And then some shifts changed. So he changed schools. So we were again closer. And he decided to go into the restaurant business and, Papacitos. So he started working at Papacitos, and because he was responsible, he was on the fast track, right? So he became a manager real quick. So I have a son at the time as a teenager, and that guy helped my son get his first job.
Wow. So full circle.
Yeah, my son still works for the company.
Oh my gosh.
Right? And that guy has his own Papacitos restaurant now. He runs he's a manager.
Yeah.
Right, in Houston. And so I say and I know it took a little while, but I said all of that to say this. It's important that we're intentional each moment of each day about looking out for people, taking care of people, honoring people, right? Giving of ourselves, getting over ourselves and give to others, because it doesn't just affect you when you do that, right? And you're not doing it to get accolades or anything, right? But you're just doing it because it's the right thing to do. But when you do, right, it affects generations in a positive way. And I know that because I'm the direct reciprocant of that, because like I said, I'm a fourth generation educator. I saw my family give service. Like, there's so many stories about my mom that I've heard. There's so many stories about my grandmother that I've heard. Right now, I'm in position, like, we're standing around. There's people telling my son and my family stories about me, and I'm standing right there. Like, just things like that. And so it's important for us to go above and beyond, because it'll come back to you. And that's, you can tie that to the podcast stuff. And I'm about to get a really big opportunity that I'm working on. And it's based off of somebody I met through the podcast. Like, just, it goes on, but the gist of it is, man, just be good people and do right by people.
Yeah. Yeah. And everything that you pour into the books, the podcast, or speaking outside of your teaching, coaching, I mean, that story is the embodiment of who you are, the essential essence of Chip Baker, right?
Thank you.
Of course. Of course, we're going to share your social link to your podcast, all of that stuff in the show notes. I always like to, of course, ask, is there any last thing that you want to leave us with today? One more statement, accolade,
Yeah. I love to leave with this. Something that's really been on my heart here recently, and I've had some things happen that kind of elevated my thoughts about this in my heart. I think that it's important for us to make sure that if there's traumas in our life, things that we've had to grow through, it's important for us to do the work to heal,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because, healed people help people, right? Hurt people, but healed people help people. And what happens is, when you're healed, you're able to help others become healed as well, because you've grown through that path. And so when we do that, it affects generations in a positive way. But if we don't do that, it affects generations in a negative way. And so my challenge to everyone that's watching today, I ask that you would just heal, do the best, strive to be the best version of you, so that you can give the best version of yourself to others, and continue to elevate your brand while doing that. Right? Like all of the things that I'm doing, it's just my journey of healing, my journey of growing. And so I'm just sharing that and highlighting others.
Amazing. Oh, thank you so much for coming on Your Brand Amplified. And thank you to everybody who is listening to this episode, who's watching it. I love it when I get to have a conversation where we're really just sharing the truth of who we are. And there's so many things that people can think about and be inspired to do in their own lives based on this conversation. Just continue finding mentors, being mentors. As Chip said, heal yourself so that you can help others. And don't be afraid to take that leap. Go get it, as Chip would say. And from somebody who has, again, a long coaching and education career, 30 plus books, YouTube channel, speaking opportunities, online store, podcast. If Chip can do it, y'all can do it too. So with that, thank you for coming to another episode of Your Brand Amplified. I'll be back again soon with another amazing story and guest. Thanks for listening or watching to this episode of Your Brand Amplified. Don't forget to leave us a rating or review on your favorite podcast listening platform. And if you want to learn more, check us out at yourbrangamplified.com.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.
If you're serious about leadership, legacy, and building wealth with structure, you need to check out the CJ Moneyway Show. Hosted by CJ Moneyway, this podcast features powerful conversations with entrepreneurs, doctors, strategists, and global thought leaders who break down what it really takes to win without losing your integrity. This isn't surface motivation. It's discipline, clarity, execution. If you're ready to think bigger, build smarter, and lead with intention, tap into the CJ Moneyway Show, available wherever you get your podcasts.